The life of a former Texas Tech student is now in the hands of a Lubbock County jury as a high-profile trial nears its end. Coming up, we'll have a look at the end of testimony in the Hollis Daniels murder trial.
Black History Month will soon be coming to a close, but there's several options remaining to commemorate the occasion with the Texas Tech community. Find out how you still have a chance to learn about some influential Black Americans during a limited event.
And both the men's and women's basketball teams were in action earlier this week as they continue to work towards a chance to continue in postseason action. MCTV's Natalie DuPre has a wrap-up of both teams' latest results along with a look around Tech athletics in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Elene Khajishvili.
And I'm Emma Montgomery. The murder trial of a former Texas Tech student has reached its final phase as the jury now debates the death sentence following the end of testimony earlier this week.
Hollis Daniels III has been on trial since February 6th for the shooting death of Texas Tech police officer Floyd East Jr. in 2017. After 2.5 weeks of testimony, the defense rested their case on Tuesday. On Tuesday morning, the case restarted after the President's Day holiday, with Hollis Daniels taking the stand. Daniels spent several hours testifying about the events that led to the death of Officer East on the night of October 9th, 2017, at the TTU PD headquarters. A large portion of Daniels' testimony focused on his drug abuse, which started in early high school. The defense used Daniels' testimony to help build their case, which is based on evidence that Daniels was under the influence of Xanax at the time of the murder. Daniels' testimony also backed up information presented by the previous witnesses that he had been depressed and suicidal, which contributed to the drug use. The testimony also further clarified details around Daniels' reasoning for stealing the gun from a friend, which he later used to rob a drug dealer to obtain more Xanax. Daniels' testimony ended with the events of the night of October 17th. Daniels' most impactful statement came while describing the moments before he pulled the trigger. Right before the murder, Daniels asked Officer East if he had any children. Daniels said that the thought that question would cause Officer East to think about his family, which would be the best thing to think about before he died. Also, he stated that he thought the question about East's children would influence Daniels' decision of whether or not to kill him. Seconds later, Officer East was shot. Daniels fled the police station and he was apprehended on campus later that night. Closing arguments in the case took place yesterday morning, and the jury started deliberations early in the afternoon. Today marks the second day of deliberations, with the jury deciding whether or not Daniels will spend the rest of his life in jail or receive the death penalty. A verdict could come before the end of the week. MCTV will continue to follow the case to its conclusion, and we will bring you further updates next week.
In other news, Black History Month continues to be observed here on campus, with dozens of events taking place throughout February. And earlier this week, one student organization hosted a limited exhibit to help educate the university community about some influential Black Americans. On Tuesday morning, the Residence Halls Association set up the third annual Black History Month gallery walk in the sub-courtyard. Students, faculty, and staff could stop by the area between the Allen Theater and the Red Raider Ballroom to learn about more than a dozen Americans who have greatly impacted the United States. Important figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., Maya Angelou, Rosa Parks, and Jackie Robinson are featured along with a short biography and picture. Attendees also had the chance to win a Comfort Color sweatshirt or an RHA swag bag by scanning a QR code at the exhibit. The Black History Month gallery walk continues through today, but the exhibit closes later tonight. Texas Tech's observance of Black History Month will come to a close next Tuesday, but there are still several events planned before the end of February. For a complete list of events, visit diversity.ttu.edu/Black History Month.
Spring break is just over 2 weeks away, marking the midpoint of the semester. Even though the holiday is a time for fun for most students, it's also an important reminder that graduation is less than 3 months away. With that in mind, several colleges on campus held career fairs this week, including the Rawls College of Business. Rawls held the spring edition of their career fair on Wednesday at the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center. Starting at 11 a.m., Thousands of students stopped by the event to meet up with the representatives from companies and groups from around the nation. Wednesday's fair was open to all students in the College of Business, giving them the chance to explore job opportunities, discover internships, or just to learn more about their future career path.
It's open to Rawls College of Business majors. We do offer it for all Texas Tech students as well later on, but we host one every fall, every spring. In the fall, we typically have about 160 employers with over 1,200 students in attendance, and then in the spring, we usually have about 120 to 130 employers with about 1,000 students.
The Spring Rose Career Fair wrapped up at 3 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. Although this event wasn't open to all students, several more career fairs will be taking place this semester that are open to the entire Texas Tech community. For more information on future job fairs or to connect with a career counselor, visit careercenter.ttu.edu. High winds and dust made a return to the South Plains area this week, with yesterday marking the worst day of the windy conditions. Wind speeds averages 28 miles per hour yesterday, with gusts reaching up to 60 miles per hour in the afternoon.
Luckily, conditions are much improved today with a slight breeze replacing yesterday's hurricane-level winds. But how long of a break will we get before the next wind event here in the Hub City? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV tower cam is looking a lot clearer at this time today than the low visibility caused by dust-filled skies yesterday afternoon. Temperatures are currently sitting just below the 60-degree mark, but highs should reach the low 60s before the end of the day. Clear skies will continue into the evening, but that will change as a slight cold front moves into the area after midnight. A few clouds will move in before sunrise, and lows will drop below freezing for the first time this week. Students heading to morning classes will also face freezing temperatures until around 10 a.m. After sunrise, temps will slowly increase, but it will be a lot cooler than the last couple of days. Highs are only expected to reach the upper 40s with mostly cloudy skies until sunset. Luckily, wind speed should stay light, but that will create a wind chill, making it feel below freezing until noon. Cooler temperatures will continue into the weekend, with highs only climbing into the mid-50s on Saturday. The sun is also not expected to make an appearance on Saturday, but again, winds will not be much of a factor. But by Sunday, that will all change, with another round of high winds in the afternoon. Wind speeds are expected to reach as high as 40 miles per hour, creating the potential for another dust storm. Temperatures are also expected to increase on Sunday, with highs topping near 80 degrees. Sunday's winds will continue throughout the evening, with 50-mile-per-hour gusts expected overnight. Looking ahead, windy conditions are currently expected throughout next week, but there's also a chance for some rain further in the forecast.
Texas Tech Athletics is gearing up for another busy weekend, with several opportunities to catch Red Raider teams in action here on campus.
MCTV's Natalie DuPre joins us now with a look at the latest headlines and when and where you can catch some Tech teams in-person sports. Natalie?
Thanks, Emma and Elena. Things are looking up for both our men's and Lady Raider basketball teams. They were able to pull out the win for most recent games, and fans are totally loving it. Let's get into it. Coming off their past 3 wins, the men's basketball team found themselves in Norman, Oklahoma to go up against the OU Sooners. Now that Fardos Amack is back in the game after getting over an injury, he's been living up to his original hype and secured a double-double with a season-high 19 points and 10 rebounds. His presence in this game was instrumental in the Red Raiders getting this victory. Other Red Raiders standouts in the game included Jalen Tyson with 18 points and 8 rebounds, and Kevin O'Banner and Pup Isaacs recording 11 points each. Isaacs was the lead on 3-pointers, making 3 of them. Not only did Tech do well with their shooting, but their rebound game was on fire. Head coach Mark Adams even noted the stat in his post-game press conference.
This is a big win for us, and I thought the biggest difference in the stat sheet was just the rebounding. We did a great job on the boards.
Tech held the lead for the entire second half of the game, with 11 points being their biggest score margin and solidifying the win 74-63. Tech is finding their rhythm and have pulled out wins for the past 4 games. The men's basketball team will be back in the United Supermarkets Arena for their last home game of the season this Saturday to go up against number 24 TCU. Now for the Lady Raiders. The Lady Raiders had an intense game where they had to go into second overtime in order to take home the win. This close matchup was determined by a crucial error from West Virginia at the end of the game, and layup from Riley McKinney with just over a second left of the showdown. This win was even more momentous because the Lady Raiders were down 17 points with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter, so they really had a great comeback. Lady Raider head coach Krista Gerlich mentioned she was proud of the resiliency her players showed and that they deserved the win.
I'm so proud for them. They deserved that. They needed a win like that. They needed some positive, just some positive things to happen for them. They've been fighting really, really hard, and West Virginia's a really good basketball team, and they're going to win a lot of games, and they are winning a lot of games, and that was big for us.
The Lady Raiders had 4 players scoring in double digits, so it's safe to say it was a group effort to secure this win. The team will return to action this Saturday against Baylor in Waco. Tip-off is set for 5 p.m. The Tech Track and Field team will compete in the Big 12 Indoor Championships this Friday and Saturday here in Lubbock, Texas at the Sports Performance Center. Both teams are currently ranked in the top 25 nationally, with the women's team currently sitting at number 14 and the men's team ranked number 3 for the 3rd week in a row. Fans are encouraged to come out and support our track and field team. On another note, the Texas Tech baseball team will be taking on Western Illinois this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a 4-game series they are hoping to sweep, keeping the win streak from last series against Gonzaga. Well, that's all for sports. Back to you, Emma and Elena.
Thanks, Natalie. As we mentioned earlier, spring break is just over 2 weeks away, and many students are getting excited for the week-long vacation from the stress of school.
Even though time is running short, there are still a few options to leave Lubbock and have some fun courtesy of One Campus Group. Every year, Parent and Family Relations partners with BreakShuttle.com to offer affordable bus trips during the spring break holiday. This year, the buses will make stops in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio on Saturday, March 11th, with return trips to Lubbock from each destination scheduled on the following Sunday, March 19th. All trips leaving from Texas Tech will take off at 9 a.m. from the R11 band lot, located behind the sub. One-way tickets vary in cost, with prices increasing as the break gets closer. Right now, prices range from $144 to or from Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio, and $155 for a trip to or from Houston. All trips currently have tickets available, but seats are limited. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit BreakShuttle.com. So, Emma, do you have your plans set for spring break?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to New Mexico with Adventure Media to do bike packing. What about you?
I might join Parent and Family Relations, so yeah, my spring break is gonna be fun. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.